StarCast is proudly sponsored by DoghouseSystems.com. If you use the code StarCast or Biscuit at checkout, you'll get double memory on your next Doghouse system. We thank DoghouseSystems.com for their support of StarCast. Additional support for episode 108 comes from SC2QuoteOfTheDay.com. Daily quotes from the StarCraft 2 community. The site may suck, but the quotes are sick. And also, listener Sean sponsored the episode today. Coming up next week on episode 109 on June 28th, Noah Moletrap will be rejoining us for the second time, and following that on episode 110 on July 5th, Jacob LZ Gamer Winstead will be joining us for the second time as well. So make sure you tune in for that. Now everyone sit back, relax, and enjoy episode 108 of StarCast.
Yeah. It's about damn time for StarCast.
Incoming transmission.
Biscuit.
Hello and welcome back to episode 108 of StarCast, the StarCraft podcast. I am Garrett Weinzierl, and with me as always is Kyle Ferguson. How you doing today, Kyle?
I'm doing excellent. This week is the first week I've been 25, obviously. Since my birthday was last week, I'm very excited. Many people told me I was going to spend this whole week crying because, I don't know, you have to judge your life, you're a quarter done, all this sort of stuff. But I've been super excited to be here, and I have this fine show going on, so I'm super duper excited about my future.
Oh, that's great. I didn't cry, so I don't know who the heck's crying on the 25th birthday. They're probably a bunch of whiners.
I don't know.
But joining us today for the first time ever is the founder and president of ESFI World, Brent Ruiz. How you doing, Brent?
Hey guys, I'm doing really well. Thanks for having me on today.
Well, thanks for joining, man. You having a good week?
Yeah, actually just trying to recover from MLG and GESL back to back. So it's been a nice, few days off. So
yeah, that's nuts. You had two fairly large events back to back, especially MLG. That was a powerhouse of esports.
Yeah.
Well, you wonder with weeks like this past 2 weeks have been, how is there ever downtime in esports? Because so much is going on at one time, and then there'll just be nothing. And you're like, well, why couldn't this have been scheduled at this time over here when I'm sitting there doing absolutely nothing?
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's just, starting to get into the summer months now, so it's going to get even crazier, believe it or not.
Yeah, I can believe that. So you attended both. Where do you live?
I live in Southern California, kind of right in between San Diego and LA.
Oh, all right. I gotcha. So are you near Anaheim, in the Orange County area?
A little bit southeast of Orange County, so about 30 minutes from Anaheim.
Gotcha. Well, you lucked out with two nice events back to back in your relative area, so that's cool.
Yeah, worked out pretty well for us.
Yeah. So, well, welcome to the show, and as customary, anytime we have a guest on the show for the first time, we've got to throw you through the grinder. We have to interview you. So, let's kick it off. Now, you are the president, you are the founder of ESFI World, the esports news site. I know it's quite popular. I read it really quite often. So, what does the president do for ESFI? Take us through your day to day.
Well, I kind of have multiple roles. I'm more so an editor-in-chief, interim editor-in-chief, I guess you can call it right now, just because I spend most of my time on a day-to-day basis working with the content that's appearing on the site. Okay. So I do a lot of, managing what content's going to appear, when certain content's going to be published, what everyone else is working on. I work a lot with the staff every day. Other than that, I do lots of outreach to potential sponsors with the help of our marketing director. As well, I do lots of meetings with potential staff that send us applications and they want to get involved, and I kind of put them through that process of seeing if they're a good fit for us. So I do a lot of everything. But most of my time really is spent on, managing the content of the site.
Cool. Well, that's great. Yeah, you hear that story. We've had I want to harken back to the Scoots interview. We hear that a lot in the esports world when people start talking about business and how can I get involved and how can I help, is that a lot of people are wearing a lot of hats in different organizations, on different teams, on different websites and stuff like that. So
that's why this industry is so cool, especially if you're just starting out, because you're going to be starting out usually like in an entry level or like some kind of junior position for the most part, and as you work your way up, you're going to be doing different things and you're going to be experiencing different things and learning a lot. So I think for newcomers to this industry, it's a really, really good way of just gaining life work experience in general. Even if you don't pursue it as a career, esports, it's a really, really great way to just learn.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've done really weird things. I did a book cover for an esports book. I never thought I'd do that. So that's it's interesting. So is ESFI your full-time job, or is it more of a labor of love, or are you kind of in this in between with like monetization on ESFI?
Well, I guess like most of the esports industry, it's a labor of love for me. Everyone, including myself, is on volunteer basis right now at ESFI. So while I do put in hours, like full-time hours, and more than full-time hours for the most part, we're not getting paid. We're not paying any staff right now. So the monetary compensation that we do get, comes from sponsorship of event campaigns. We'll go into a little bit later of how our actual business model, revenue model works. So.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So do you get like you broke up a little bit there. So do you get your trips sponsored like for specific events? Like we're going to MLG, let's find some sponsors so that we can afford to go.
Yeah, like the way it works right now for us is a lot of our content comes from the coverage that we do at events, major events. So we need a way to get there. We need to be able to pay our staff to get there. That's hotel, lodging, the airfare and whatnot. So we need money to do that, and the way that we do that is we sell sponsorship campaigns for a specific event. Like we just did one with MLG Anaheim, for example. We did that with Ruiz. They sponsored that for us.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's kind of the way that event coverage works for us. Obviously, there's other ways of monetizing a site like ESFI. A lot of it is just advertising based. And I guess the next step for us is to try and ramp up our efforts with just video content in general, because that's obviously another way of monetizing content. So that's the next step for us.
Very cool. So anything you can talk about? Are there some shows you're planning, or?
Oh yeah, I mean, we are kind of just putting infrastructure into place. That's what I'm working on right now. I don't know when everything's going to hit or actually start moving, getting the pieces in place. But it's what we're working on right now to kind of create this channel of esports programming that's consistent and people can rely on it. So, they know like every Tuesday, for example, there's going to be a certain show about whatever, So, and not just shows, like live shows like this, but also VOD content, like post-produced content, such as, we did a really popular, we're still doing it, a really popular series of GSL recap. So like after each round of the GSL, we do a video recap. They're really, really popular, great reception on all of them. So stuff like that, if we can create that on a consistent basis and put it into like a programming kind of thing that people can come to and know it's going to be on at a certain day or time, that's kind of what we're going for.
Awesome. Can I give a personal request? I'd really like it if you did recaps of anything besides GSL, because I watch it very regularly and it's hard to keep up with everything else.
Oh yeah, like a lot of people like the GSL stuff just because of that reason. They can't stay up that late or that early, so yeah, it's real popular.
Yeah, I watch that exclusively in VODs. I know Kyle does too. Kyle, you and I have talked about that on the show multiple times.
Yeah, I feel like I get overwhelmed by these marathon events. I'm like, if you're not watching from the beginning, you feel like you're out of it.
Yeah, you miss a lot of the story, which is something I noticed with DreamHack this past weekend, because I didn't really have a chance to sit down and watch it while it was happening. So thank God for the subreddit spoiler-free SC Some dude went through and had a link to every single like section of the StarCraft DreamHack. So I watched it mostly in VOD. But
that website got a little confusing as is. But we could talk about DreamHack later.
Yeah, we'll get it. I was just while we were on the subject.
So Brent, so how did you come up with this website? I mean, did you build it? Are you a programmer yourself? Did you say I had a great idea? And what led you into being this focused on esports in general?
So I guess the way it started was it's actually pretty clear. Like after it got bought out in 2006, got bought out by MLG. There was officially this big hole in terms of like esports coverage, especially when it comes to North American presence in esports coverage site. That's independent, especially. So that's kind of when I started conceptualizing the idea about ESFI and what our goals were, what I wanted the site to become, and what it would provide the esports fans. So that's kind of when it started, way back in 2007, believe it or not.
Wow, you got it.
Yeah,
you got an early jump on that. Yeah,
it's been a while, but there's a good reason for the delay. We had so many problems with web development. And, like the version of the site that you see right now is actually like completely different build, design, everything, not even the same code than what was originally being worked on. Just because we had so many like legal issues with a firm that we hired in the Bay Area. They kind of just screwed us over, so we lost about a good year and a half of development time.
Oh man!
Wow,
that's awful.
But we pushed through it. That sucked, man. But we pushed through it, and we eventually got to where we are. We launched in December 2010, so about a year and a half old now.
Nice. Well, I mean, the site's great, and you have all sorts of sign-ins and everything else, and just great graphics going all the time. But for you personally, were you ever a pro gamer, an aspiring pro gamer? Like, what got you into esports in the first place?
Yeah, I'm actually pretty old school when it comes to that. I was practically raised with Quake. I started with Quake 2. Quake 2 Test, actually, right? That was when all the 3D video cards were coming out, if anyone remembers this. But like Voodoo cards and that kind of thing.
Oh, dude, I had a Voodoo 3. I remember that thing. So I could play Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine.
I never had a computer that sweet.
Call it sweet if you want. It was like a yellowing box in the corner, but I shoved a video card in there.
At the time, I would have killed for a rig like that, man. I went straight from like Dark Forces to the original Counter-Strike. I didn't play anything in between because I didn't have a computer.
Yeah, those were the days for sure. So yeah, Quake 2, and then Wolfenstein came out. Return to Castle Wolfenstein. Played that pretty competitively, and then Warcraft 3 came out, and I got into that, and I played that competitively as well. And I started. That's kind of around the time when I started doing coverage of competitions, esports tournaments and whatnot, for a small site called Cached.net back in, I think it was like 2001 when I started. So eventually SK Gaming noticed my writing and what I was doing at Cached, and they brought me on to do Warcraft 3 coverage at their site. And then I guess after that, like WoW came out, and I started playing WoW, and then I started up SK's WoW division, which got pretty big eventually with like other down the line that it just blew up, obviously.
So they just start calling you like the Blizzard guy over at SK, or?
No, but I guess the Warcraft guy.
Okay.
But yeah, I did lots of Warcraft stuff with World of Warcraft, both playing and coverage-wise and content-wise. And then that's kind of when Frag got bought out, and I started ESFI.
Awesome. That's quite the journey.
Yeah, indeed.
So one of the questions we got is, who is your target audience for ESFI World? And I guess right now with all, the numbers being thrown around by MLG, is it the same sort of like 18 to 35 all male demographic?
Like I don't know, it's kind of, I think 18 to 35 is a little bit like too strict of a range. Like lots of people who are getting into esports now are a lot younger than 18. So like the demographic for esport viewers is really increasing its range. So like one of my goals when I started ESFI was to basically expose esports to mainstream, the casual gamers who haven't really heard of esports or seen any live tournaments or that kind of thing, and get them interested, get them educated about what esports is, and hopefully convert them to fans. So that's kind of what one of our main goals is, and what it was originally and what it still is today. So in terms of demographic, it's specifically not just like a certain age range that we aim for. It's just whoever's into a certain game that has the potential to become an esport, we want them to get involved with esports and watching the tournaments and get them actually educated that this stuff goes on. Hopefully, they can become one of the continuous viewers of these tournaments.
That's very true. I mean, the real only time we all kind of collectively sit around and go, all right, let's refresh everyone, is when we have, we see this all the time with World of Warcraft because they have so many expansions. But right now, if you were trying to get into esports, I feel like half of people would just say, just wait for Heart of the Swarm. Like, it's too much. You won't even be able to catch up. Just wait.
It's definitely in moving train mode at the moment. Like, all the popular games are they've got some legs on them already. Definitely not fresh experiences. So Brett, how often do you or other members of the ESFI staff attend esport events?
Well, there's probably like a major tournament every I don't know, once a month, I'd say. So that's probably how often we refer to these events. Obviously now where esports is so much more active than it's been in recent years, there's lots of travel. As you can see, like in the summer months especially. So it's at least once a month and maybe like up to 3 times a month.
Okay. All right. Your room mic's roboting on us pretty hardcore. You want to try leaving the call real quick and rejoining it just to see if that resets the quality with your microphone?
Yeah. I'll be right back.
Cool.
Thank you.
So the people laughing at our list of topics. If you're confused about Stefano being arrested, go check out the Reddit. It's like number 1 or 2 because obviously it's the most important thing going on in the esports world right now.
It's quite the picture as well. So
yeah.
So. I'm just gonna post a link right here in the chat.
Good.
Go enjoy that right now.
Cool. You back, Brent?
Yep, I'm back.
Oh, cool. You sound a lot better too.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
happens.
Nothing you can control. So we were talking about how often you attend events and stuff. Now, sometimes there's multiple events in the course of one weekend. Like this past weekend, we had the GESL, we had DreamHack. How do you choose which tournaments are worth covering from the event, like live?
It's pretty simple, I guess. The bigger, the better. Obviously, we determined that by previous iterations of the event, like MLG already has obviously a big presence in this industry.
Yeah.
So I guess there's already like a set amount of organizations that we really try and get our people out to cover those events. When you have your MLG, the ESL IM series, DreamHacks, NESL now, and a few others. So those are like the main major tournaments that we try and go out to. And the other factor is, of course, we have to keep in mind that we have a budget every month for travel. So we need to kind of look at who which of our staff are close to a certain event, and if they're going to be able to go to that event, and if they are, how much it's going to be for them to travel, and how many days they need to stay there, and whatever else. So we look at a lot of different things when we're actually planning our event travel.
Gotcha. Now, do you have people all over the globe, or is it pretty centralized to North America?
Yeah, we have most of our people are in North America, but we do have people over in Europe and a few in Asia as well. Okay. When I started the site, I wanted to make sure that we covered esports on an international scale, not just focusing on North America, for example. So, that was our goal from the beginning, and we are actually trying to bring on more European staff, especially right now, to help us out with, it gets so crazy when you're trying to cover an event in Europe and you're on the North America side of the world, and, the time zones get crazy. So we definitely are trying to get some more people to help us out with that.
Yeah, I believe it.
Do you feel like, so you have all these people employed that you're sending to all these different events. Is it generally positive, the feedback you get from the person that went, or is it oversaturated with media, or do you feel like there's too many people wanting autographs or their own clips for their own projects that real press with actual websites can't get in there?
That's an interesting question.
That's a good one, Kyle. You came up with that on the fly. I commend you.
Good job, man. No, actually, everyone who we send to events, they really enjoy going, and they, especially for those that it's their first ever event that they've been to, especially as a working for a press organization, they always have really great things to say about it. Come home after they come home. So, obviously, there's lots of people in this industry who are they're kind of trying to get into this industry as in the journalistic aspect, press aspect, but at the end of the day, they're just like fanboys and fangirls. So that's something that we're trying to teach people to avoid, especially when they're at an event, to try and keep the whole vibe as professional as possible, especially since they're representing ESFI and we have certain goals that we're trying to put across. So in that aspect, it's just a question of education and kind of training our staff to approach a certain job the way it should be.
That's true. I mean, I guess you are sending employed fanboys in the most part, so you do have to warn them ahead of time to keep that under wrap.
Yeah.
Do not tackle day 9. Just don't do it. He doesn't like it. It's not cool.
It's not everyone, but there's certain people all the time that I need to speak to. So.
Sure.
You ever get a letter from Tasteless or something, just hey, someone with an ESFI shirt is stalking me in the bathroom. This isn't okay.
I hope that never happens.
Oh, but it's true. I mean, you can go an entire day and just be professional and be nope, not. And then there's one person, just everyone has that one person that you just couldn't be cool around. Mine's Harrison Ford. I've never met the man, but I can be oh, neat. But Harrison Ford, I'd be whoa, holy crap. So.
Yeah, Harrison Ford would probably be mine too, Kyle. I guess that's why we're friends.
He hasn't done much though recently, but oh well.
Well, he had Cowboys vs. Aliens, which I still haven't seen and heard terrible things about, but...
yeah, a little heavy on the machina, but...
yeah. Anyways, back to ESFI. Looking at the main page, Brent, you got all your buttons right along the top with all the different games you cover and whatnot. It seems as if you have a very heavy emphasis on PC-only esports. Does ESFI also cover console esports?
Yeah, well, we're covering Call of Duty, the console side of Call of Duty for a while, when MLG was actually, when it was part of MLG Circuit. So they didn't pick it up since the beginning of this year. So definitely, we still tried to keep a section afterwards. We had some really dedicated people that were part of that section that tried to, keep it together, even if MLG didn't have it on its circuit anymore. So that lasted for a while, but then we kind of lost the people that were managing that section, and I don't know, it's so hard when a game like that is so reliant on a certain league. It's the same problem with Halo.
Right.
Halo really is so reliant. It's the perfect example of how reliant they are on MLG. If MLG doesn't pick it up, then where's all the action? Where's all the tournaments at? Like, there's no coverage to have of the game. So I think MLG is picking it back up again. So we'll see about Halo, but I don't know about Call of Duty yet. But then you have your fighting games, which is something that we've been wanting to put together a section for so long. Kind of a question about like resources in terms of staff, finding the proper staff that will be able to really, put together a good section, dedicated people, self-motivated, all that good stuff. It's just a matter of us trying to find those people. But we definitely wanted to, and we've done like fighting game coverage already, and articles here and there, and they've gotten a good reception from that community. So that's something definitely one of the next steps that we're trying to focus on.
That's got to be pretty hard finding people for it, because competitive games, particularly strategy games that I know of, people are very ingrained in what they like. And it's not like you could probably ask the StarCraft 2 guy, oh, by the way, while you're there, go check out Counter-Strike, write us an article about it, you'll be good. It can't work that way.
No, exactly. Yeah. It's almost like you need a certain level of, fanboy in your writers. Just not the screaming crazy ones.
I wonder if that happens in other magazines. Like the guy who does the sex advice column, he couldn't possibly ever do points on shopping.
I was going to say this happens in news all the time. You watch any news, anytime they try to talk about any video game ever, it just comes across as get off my lawn old man style. So there's your analogy, Kyle.
Thank you. But so you mentioned fighting games. Is there another game that's coming out in the future that you're really excited to have part of your site? I mean, I see you've already incorporated Dota 2, which is kind of basically out. I mean, not all the hats are done, but it's playable.
It's pretty much live. It's already in tournaments. It's out.
Yeah. Well, the last section that we launched was League of Legends, which is another section that we're trying to do a lot more with than we are right now, just because we need more people. We need more resources put into it. So that's something that we're trying to put more resources into, put bigger emphasis on. In terms of other games, man, like we used to cover Quake Live, and I was such a big Quake fan. And then, I mean, one day I just like logged into the North American servers, and I mean, there's like nobody playing Google. So I think it's still pretty popular in Europe, but I think probably as you guys, if you watch DreamHack, like the Quake stream, the Quake audience is really enthusiastic. So yeah, it's really hard. I mean, you have like all these new games coming out that have like a potential of becoming an esport game, like Shoot Mania, for example. That's the developer of Trackmania who's behind that, and Trackmania is a pretty big esport game. So I don't know. We're kind of just playing it by ear, seeing what happens with the games that are coming out. We don't really want to rush anything. We don't want to like launch a section prematurely. That's probably one of the worst things that we can do. So we're just playing it by ear right now.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So, what role do you see ESFI filling? Especially right now when you see sensational news, aka Reddit, getting just a crap ton of views. Are you competing for those same viewers, or is your goal to keep it unbiased and professional?
Yeah, I mean, our goal is to keep it unbiased and professional, but those are still viewers that we want to, have as part of ESFI's audience. I think there's room for those Reddit and other community site viewers to take a real interest in what ESFI is doing with our original content, and especially our video content in the future. Like one thing that we've seen is that not everyone really likes to read like an article. They'd rather either like listen to something or watch a video of it. So that's one of the reasons why we're putting a bigger effort into our video stuff in the coming months. But I mean, in terms of like sensationalism and that kind of thing, we're going to stick to our guns and our original plan, which was to create just a site that has original content that's engaging, but also it asks the tough questions, and it's just journalism 101. Like that's what we do. We need more of it for sure, and we're working towards that. But we're not going to go. I mean, we already have like Reddit and Wakaka and Sweden, and those guys would be awesome. But
yeah,
we're gonna stick to our guns. But we do hope that those viewers can transfer over to. They're still interested in what we're doing.
Yeah. I just had this image in my head of ESFI for next week. There's this giant splash image. Stefano gets arrested underneath that. Mana wins DreamHack. Just little tiny.
And the Ark was found on Mars.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So I guess the only question left to ask, Brent, is out of all the games you guys cover, what's your favorite? Pick your favorite child. Pick it now.
Well, we did cover Quake Live, so I'll have to pick Quake Live. Even over like all the current games that we're covering right now. So yeah, I think I'll stick with Quake, just because I was raised on Quake. So you know what? I'm hoping so much right now that the next proper dual game comes out, whether it be id Software or somebody else. I think like me and like Too Good and all the other old school Quake players are really hoping for something. So
nice.
I think it'd be a really good thing just for the whole scene in general, the whole esports industry, just because it's a really simple format. It's a one-on-one. You pick up weapons, you pick up armor, and you shoot the other guy, and that's it. And there's like score 1-4 kill. That's it. It's really simple. So I think it's a really friendly format for newcomers. So I really hope that comes back.
Awesome. Shouldn't be ashamed of loving your first video game love. There's no shame in that. So you said, let's get into the current news from this week. You said that you had personally attended GESL, which I think a lot of people just completely missed it entirely. I didn't know it was coming. I didn't know it had happened until after it was over. So what exactly is the GESL, first off, for those who don't know and for those who may have missed it?
The GESL stands for the Gigabyte Esports LAN. It was a StarCraft 2 and League of Legends tournament held in Southern California at the Cal Poly Pomona campus, which is actually this college I went to. So that's kind of cool.
Oh, sweet.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, there's kind of some problems with obviously it being it conflicting with the DreamHack event, which I think was obviously one of the primary reasons for them feeling about it. I did talk. I mean, I've been talking to the organizers of that event for a few weeks leading up to the event, and they were it seemed like they were having issues like effectively promoting it. I'm not sure like what exactly the problems were, but it just seems like the community wasn't receptive, or I don't know, maybe the promotion they were doing was not being done correctly, but I'm not sure about that. Anyway, like you said, not many people knew about it going in, so that combined with the DreamHack conflict, that was not a good setup for them. But actually being there, we went all 3 days, and it was a pretty good environment actually on site. So, I guess you have always different stories when you're comparing like the online viewer experience to that of the actual live spectator. So, they were doing lots of, giveaways, and they had lots of booths inside the main stage area where you could, play other games and check out hardware and equipment and stuff like that. So I think it was really there was a big difference between the two experiences, and, that obviously it affected the viewership numbers weren't good for StarCraft 2 especially. It seemed a lot better for League of Legends, but even then, comparing to what we've seen in the past for League of Legends events, it was still a little bit low. So.
Yeah, I had a similar experience when I went to the CSL finals here in Florida. Seeing my friends who had watched it online had a completely different opinion of what mine was. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I heard they were getting like DDoS attacked and stuff during their promotions because of the whole Destiny debacle, and that was brought up on State of Game this past week. And
there were other factors as well. There's this stigma, it's facts, but that the land wasn't set up when they got there. I heard it didn't take that long to get things rolling and put together, but it's one of those kind of obvious oversights that plagued it. But I need some clarification on this. What is a DDoS attack?
A DDoS attack?
Yeah. I've never even heard this.
It's like denial of service. Like people just send endless amounts of pings to the server, so like eventually it just gets crushed, dies out, something like that. So anyone can do it, which is part of the problem. But
yeah,
there was that. I did actually speak to John Clark from CSN. CSN was running the tournament side of things, and Beyond Gaming was running the production side of things. So I talked with John Clark, and just to confirm that what was said on State of the Game actually did happen. With people calling people who had bought the spectator passes and telling them that the event was canceled, so don't come. And what happened with the DDoS stuff. He said it all is true. It all did happen, but there is some other information that he's still in the process of giving me. So there might be a story that we're going to be publishing about that in the very near future. So just so we can get facts straightened out and
yeah,
how exactly all this happened.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say that'd be a really interesting read. I'd like to hear more about it because they didn't talk about it at length on State of the Game. That was the only time I even heard it brought up.
Yeah, hopefully we do get some info out of that.
Yeah, and it seemed kind of like big news that a tournament was getting attacked by fans of a caster. So
yeah, and we interviewed lots of players at the event, and everything on that side of things, like player condition wise, like we just released a Muslim interview today, where he goes into pretty good detail about the player conditions at GESL, and it was everything was really well done on that on the player condition side of things. So all that was good, other than the delays on the first day, just because of the internet issues, difficulties that they had. I think it was a pretty well-run event, and everyone else seemed to think the same. So it was just like everything else that happened on the side that kind of affected it negatively.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's too bad. So, and as we've harped on already, it's DreamHack, man.
It was DreamHack.
It's hard to compete with.
Yeah, I mean, Gigabyte's a big name. Don't get that wrong, but calling it the GESL, it kind of turned me off from it because I went to the GOM site and I was like, well, that's not here, so it must be something I must not care about, and left. And I'm sorry, but that was my experience with it, and went to DreamHack.
Well, how dare you, Kyle? That's why you don't like the team league, because there's a T in the GSTL.
Yep.
Right? It's just that extra letter just pisses you off.
I log on, there's a whole bunch of people sitting there. I'm like, I can't take this. No best of threes. This is ridiculous.
Nice. So, Brent, do you have a couple extra minutes before we let you go? Take a couple questions from the chat room, and then I know you need to get out of here.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, chat room, if you have any questions for our guest, he does need to go, but we can take 3 or so questions, providing they're not like novel length. Like, so, what was your childhood like? Yeah. And then we'll just have to wait for that line. Could you okay, we got our first one from Johnny the Crow asks, is it possible to make a living from ESFI World? He says that website, but I'm assuming he means your website.
Okay, so there's two sides to this, okay? So eventually I hope that there will be a way for people to make, salary and whatnot working at ESFI. But in the meantime, and there is actual evidence of this and proof. I think ESFI, working at an organization like ESFI, is a really good first step in getting your foot into the door of this industry. And actually, we've seen people get noticed and get recognized with their work that they did on ESFI, at least in part. And then moving on to other paying jobs. Like some of our staff have moved on to jobs such as like Blizzard, recently, MLG, GameSpot, ESL even. So people do work their way up in this industry. You just have to put lots of sweat equity into it. It's all a matter of how much you put in. That's really all there is to it. If you want to get your name out there, you need to start somewhere, right? So I think ESFI is one of the best ways to do that as a starting point.
Awesome. I agree with that, by the way, having done free work for a while now. What do you think about Shoot Mania, and what's the great hope of the dual genre? From Chobo Peon. Awesome, man.
Shoot Mania is, I don't know, Shoot Mania, I've seen a little bit of it. It's not like a typical 1v1 deathmatch game, so in that aspect, I kind of am hoping that something else comes out. But, I mean, it seems like some of the players have been enjoying playing it, but then again, it was part of a promotional campaign. I'm part of Ubisoft, so you kind of have to say they like it. So there is that. But, I mean, what I've seen, I'm not really that big of a fan of that format. It's a really strange format. Like 3 people are on the team, and then they play, it's like 3 versus 1 rounds, so one person has to go against 3, at least in one of the formats. So it's really strange. But, I mean, it's the developer of Trackmania, so they have a really good reputation of supporting the esports scene. So we'll see what happens with Shoot Mania. I think the big hope is something that hasn't really come out yet. I mean, I think if like Quake Live came out maybe a year later, or a year later, maybe people would be streaming it more, and it would have been a bigger game. So in that aspect, I think it was bad timing for Quake Live. But I think that the way that id Software made Quake Live, it's all really easy to install. It's free. It's part of your browser, and anyone can play it. Was a good first step for that genre, and I think that that's something that future developers should definitely take a look at for another deathmatch game to come out if someone actually makes one.
Cool. I have actually not familiar with it at all, so I'm definitely going to go and check it out after the show tonight. Sounds interesting. We have one more question before we let you go. Is do you believe in pushing for mainstream promotion, i.e., sponsoring Day 9 or Apollo, Total Biscuit, etc.?
Interesting question. I mean, I think definitely those personalities are something that esports industry really needs to help promote esports. And I think that we probably need more of those personalities. So I think, there's so many like casters coming out, newcomers, the up-and-comers that are, putting their time into this and doing more of the promotional side of things and doing more casting, and event organizers like MLG and ESL with like Frodan, and like no one knew who Frodan was a while ago, and now he's a really popular guy. So I think some of it does rely on like how much these personalities are willing to put into supporting esports as a whole, instead of just just being in it for themselves, which I hope none of these people really are. I think everyone's working for the same goal, hopefully. So I think definitely part of it does rely on the way that these guys are promoting esports.
Cool. Well, that's awesome. But also, as we always do, you can't stay till the end, but anytime we have a guest, we ask them if there's anything they want to promote. Is there anything you want to direct people to before we end the interview?
Just check out our GESL coverage. We did lots of player interviews there and other interviews, so you can find all that stuff as well as our MLG Anaheim coverage on ESFIworld.com. Just want to give another shout out to my to our ESFI staff. Couldn't do any of this without them. So thanks to all you guys. Thanks for you guys to having me on today. And follow me on Twitter. Brent Ruiz is my username there. So that's about it.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Brent. It's great to get to talk to you. I'm a huge fan of the site. It's a fantastic time waster, especially at work. So
good to hear, man. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
It's always fun.
Absolutely.
Again, it's Brent Ruiz. It's ESFIworld.com. Go check it out. Have a good night, Brent.
Thanks.
All right.
All right.
And that will probably destroy our overlay when he leaves the call. Maybe.
Damn,
oh,
I
just
can't
slightly
believe
off.
I can't believe someone would do that kind of attack. I mean, that's just malicious. Particularly I can see maybe a big name one. I remember when Diablo 3 started coming out, there was this guy who posted on Reddit and was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to ruin the game for everyone because I love Diablo 2 so much that I cannot stand to allow no LAN support, so I'm going to attack them. But I can't think of any reason why anyone would just attack a college LAN tournament, particularly one that has big name players.
Yeah. Excuse me a moment. I'm trying to get the overlay functional again.
No, sure. And I'm talking about something we talked about 10 minutes ago. So,
yeah,
no need to see my face gesturing about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it sucks. It definitely sucks. I do not understand the concept behind that. It boggles my mind. But,
yeah.
I don't know what you got to do. And my point, what I think is, if these guys are fans of Destiny and they think they're helping him, I would think they're hurting him more than anything, because now people are going to be afraid to even discuss having Destiny as a caster because, if we go with someone else last minute, we're going to get attacked, an Anon or 4chan style.
Well, can we book Destiny? What if we tell him we're going to have him, but then we cancel? Is that when things go bad, or is it the mere fact that we even said Destiny? Or why? So Destiny was going to be a caster in this, correct?
Yeah, he was. Or that's my understanding. Like I said, I missed almost the whole. I didn't even know about it. So again, I don't want to talk out of my ass. So
well, clearly no one really knows about it right now. That's why we're kind of waiting around for the official press release.
Yeah, it'd be great if ESFI World, once hopefully they get that article up, kind of dispelling all of the rumor and hitting us with some actual facts. That'd be really nice.
Yeah, well.
So I believe our overlay is up and functioning again. By the way,
sweet. It's really tough on them too, because everyone basically said it's such a you shouldn't have done it anyway kind of moment. But there was DreamHack at the same time. It's sad that there's that huge looming excuse. They're like, it didn't go well, and we're like, well, no duh. Star Trek Nemesis, one of the coolest Star Trek movies of all time, came out the week in Lord of the Rings. Why would you do that to your own film?
and just by comparison, the special effects were crap.
Yeah, no, they were like sci-fi originals, but it was a good movie for a Star Trek movie.
No, the new ones are good movies. I don't know about. I'm not going to get into this debate. I'm going to get so much hate mail from Trek fans. But yeah, it's a whole nother subject where I would just be talking out of my butt, because I did not grow up a Trek fan. I am a Star Wars fan through and through.
Sure, me neither. I've actually watched Trek completely after the fact. I'm only just starting to get into Next Generation. I was a Voyager person, so I think Picard is cool, but he's not my man. Captain Janeway, she was sweet. She was a badass.
Make it so.
Engage.
Yeah, he'll always
we
be
got
Professor X to me.
Well, if I had my explosion icon, it'd move right on down to Heart of the Swarm Progress.
Holy crap! Yeah, freaking Dustin Browder. I would vote him the greatest troll of our time after this bit of freaking news. If you were sitting where I'm sitting, looking at our show notes, you would think that StarCast promotes sensational journalism, because my headline for this story goes, Heart of the Swarm, 99% done. But I'm going to preface
that. Might as well say, Heart of the Swarm, we're enjoying it without you.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm prefacing it with the fact that I think Dustin Browder is the biggest troll on the face of the earth. Because according to an interview with the Blizzard dev, Heart of the Swarm is 99% done. And to quote Mr. Dustin Browder. But that last 1% is a bitch.
Yeah. Well, you got to figure art is probably the big kind of sit down, bust it out. But tweaking damage and times of attacks and what has what kind of cooldown, that's probably the 1% they're talking about in the grand scheme of things, and that's probably the hardest percent.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not even sure it's balanced at this point, because I think they just need to throw it out there for everyone to abuse and balance it as such. I think it's like you said. I think they're very much stuck on art right now, and I'm sure if Diablo 3's workflow on their cinematics was any indication, they're going to be working on the Heart of the Swarm cinematics like up until a week of release, because that's what happened on Diablo, and their art team is just they're ridiculous. And I understand, I went to art school. I understand the artist mindset. It's like it's never done. I can always tweak it just a little bit more. But Blizzard seems to take that to an nth degree. That's just absurd.
Well, we've talked about this in the past. They are in a special position where they have the money to do such things. But then again, when they finally say that date, you're right. They are artists. They are going to keep working on it to the moment. It's not even done by the time they put it out, because that's the way video games go these days, at least PC games.
Case in point, the Queen just got a redesign for Heart of the Swarm.
Yeah, how strange. I mean, I love it because those extra arms aren't doing anything anymore.
No,
they're not even
useless.
like massaging overlords or anything. They get tired up there. They need a good massage.
Yeah, just
particularly that one.
Crack that carapace.
I wish he was a special color, the one you got at the beginning of the game, just so you could be like, he lived the whole time. Good going, you. Too bad he's usually the first one to go into the base and get sacrificed, but, such is life.
That should be an achievement they add to Heart of the Swarm. First Overlord lives to end of match.
Yeah, because that guy always gets sacked. And the poor guy, I mean, he was probably carrying the drone that flew down here and turned into the hatchery, and he had to go across interstellar space with nothing but that drone for companion. Now he's a building. They can't even talk.
Yep. I cannot believe ass is censored in our chat room. To get off topic for a moment. Curran is trying to tell us that our new overlay is badass, and thank you.
That's not fair.
Thank you very much. I am quite proud of our new overlay. It took me quite a while to put it together. But yeah, that's funny. Of all the words to censor.
I don't know. I kind of go with like the Simpsons logic. If it's okay on Simpsons, I can get away with it.
I just try to censor. I just try not to say the F word on air if I can help.
Yeah.
It. But then, then it's like, hey, let's have Sir Scoots on. He's just like, F this. F that. Not that it's a bad thing.
Well, it was part of his community. I mean, you can't take the curse out of Counter-Strike players.
No. And I swear it in my normal life all the time. I don't know. I just know we got a lot of parents with young children who listen to the show. So.
And you know what? I mean, sometimes competitive people aren't the best role models. Let's all not be surprised by a bit of news coming up.
Anyways, we also had there were quite a lot of interviews after MLG Anaheim with Chris Sigaty and with Dustin Browder. But the really interesting bit, we talked a lot about two specific interviews over on This Week in Blizz on Monday. So if you want to hear more about these interviews in depth, go check it out over there. We kind of dissect them a little more. But the thing I really want to take out of an interview that Chris Sigaty did just recently is that he said that the Heart of the Swarm beta is just a few months away. They said that after MLG Anaheim, they're going to take a couple of weeks to refine the build that was presented for testing in MLG. They're going to finish up some artwork, what we were just talking about, and make sure it's stable for online play, and then the beta will begin. So, the most important information to take away from this bit of news is that Kyle and I have been doing this show for a long time, off the sweat of our brows, and there is nothing we would like more than a beta key. So if you're listening and you get one, or you have access to giving some out, please send one our way. StarCastShow@gmail.com. 2. Yes. Please send 2.
Please send 2.
Please send 2, so we don't get our Battle.net account banned for account sharing.
Or my account for hacking Garrett's.
Yes. You won't be banned. I'll just find you. So that's very nice. We have a link to the full interview. Where was this one? I think this was on GameSpot. Yeah, that was a GameSpot interview with Chris Sigaty.
One of the interesting things that they did mention in that is there was one feature of the Zerg that they're planning to put in Heartless Swarm that was not available at MLG Anaheim, and that is the multiple kinds of Nidus worms that can pop up.
Yeah, that was something that was brought up at BlizzCon, and we really have heard little to nothing about since. So that was back in October for BlizzCon. I'm really excited for this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to stop reading the chat room.
I know. That's why I completely stopped too. I was like, we said we were going to open a pub? Oh, man, we did.
When did I say this? Oh, yeah, that was like
episode 8.
75 episodes ago. Thanks for that, Johnny the Crow. Thank you so much. There's a long-time listener right there. If I had an extra shirt, sir, I would send it to you. So, we talked about GESL, and thank God we had Brent here to talk about it, because I missed the whole damn thing. But there was another tournament this weekend that...
Sure. Little thing.
May have crushed the competition. DreamHack, the EIZO Open. I finally know how to pronounce it because DJ Wheat said it so many times. God bless you, DJ Wheat, because I have not... I wanted to call it Ezio. It looked like frickin' what's-his-name's name from Assassin's Creed.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Yeah. So I'm really... It's apparently pronounced EIZO. So I have been an idiot for the past few episodes, so that's always good.
Again, I am impressed by the DreamHack venue.
Their production quality is second to none.
Yeah.
I love MLG. MLG puts a lot of effort into their production, but it's still not as tight as DreamHack's. Even the little things. The thing that really impressed me about DreamHack Summer was as soon as someone tapped out, as soon as GG appeared on the screen, just DreamHack logo shot in and covered the screen, and then it faded into arena view, and it was just so immediate.
Yeah.
They were like hovering over that button. It seemed almost like it was pre-recorded or something, because the editing was so sharp.
The secondary casters is such a great idea. We've been looking for something to fill that time. If you got day 9, he'll fill it for you by actually pulling up a replay and doing stuff. But that can't happen with everyone. That's not everyone's cup of tea. It's really cool that we're able to go to a completely different set, and no less, it was Caldor and In Control, which actually, they were really cool together. They really riffed off each other well, had a good time up there. Sometimes they got a little whispery, and I was like, is this golf? This is getting a little weird. You don't need to be so calm. But then again, the venue, it was like a theater arena style.
Yeah, it was funny that you mentioned that, because by comparison, you go look at Diapollo, you look at DJ Wheat, pretty skinny, kind of nerdy looking dudes, but they're really freaking loud. Then let's go over to Caldor and In Control. Holy crap, these guys look like they could star in the original Predator alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger during his prime, and they're talking like mice. Yeah, I think a lot of it was the microphone volume. I noticed that Caldor was definitely coming in a lot hotter than In Control.
Hotter?
So, like his mic was up higher, and you were getting...
Oh, okay.
It was coming in a lot punchier than In Control. In Control seemed a little low at times, especially in like the semifinals. Is where I really started to notice that. So, but this is a very minimal complaint. The production was insane.
Yeah, and the chairs look comfy for the audience.
Yes, and plentiful, which is always nice. So, that's great. Wow, is there a drag race going on outside your window?
I apologize.
It happens.
I can't stop them.
It's not your fault. You live down the street from Vin Diesel.
No, he totally tore up that whole neighborhood. Well, in the third one, did they drag a... Yeah, they dragged a bank vault through the streets.
That was the fifth one, sir.
Oh, excuse me. We're completely forgetting 2 movies. How could they run together?
The third one was Tokyo Drift.
They're so unique.
I love Fast and the Furious. And Fast 5 is amazing, sir. I love that.
Fast 5.
That's a great movie. Anyways, getting back on subject with DreamHack and ignoring the racing going on outside of your window. So, Mana was obviously the victor. Spoiler alert. And what an awesome story. Mana's story goes a lot like, he's almost like the European Marine King as far as his story is concerned. This man historically got second place. And third. I mean, he came in second at DreamHack Winter last year, and he came in third in IPL Season 2. So this is really cool to see him take a DreamHack victory. So.
Yeah, scary play, definitely. His force field control, It was amazing. I mean, granted, you put yourself in those kind of positions when you have that many sentries, where if your control isn't that good, well, there everything goes, and there, here come the lings. But for the most part, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
frightening.
He really should just change his name to Sentry. There's so many. It was absurd.
Sentry King?
Sentry King. Yes, there you go. And compete with Marine King. That'd be great.
It's so interesting, and you see this at the bottom of the comments on a video. When so and so is OP, Protoss is OP. It's like, no, it's just this guy here is making it look like that because he's crazy.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. So the finals it was between Mana. It was between Damaga, Zerg. So they were impressive. They were surprisingly short for the most part. It was looking a lot like the first few groups of GSL last week. We were talking about that with Wigan, how it was surprisingly like it seemed like a lot of lower economic games as far as GSL historically goes. These were all really fast, except for Game 3. Game 3 was a pretty long, drawn-out game, which oddly enough was the one Damaga won pretty convincingly too. He had the lead the whole time. He just kept taking it up to the next level of Zerg tech.
Yeah, I mean, Damaga was extremely skilled in these finals. It's a shame that he wasn't able to take it to more games, but I don't think he was underrepresented. And
It's okay. You can say that.
I let it roll. Just let it happen.
Rappers make up their own words. You can too.
Sure, but they're rhyming. Even if the words aren't real, they at least make a rhyme out of it. I was just screwing up.
Well, it's easy to rhyme when the words aren't real.
When you make it up.
Yeah. Yeah, so Game 3 was definitely my favorite because I always like seeing, a tense back and forth, a game that's not over in 10 minutes.
I love that wall where Mana had his front wall on his natural expansion up and then just continually threw up those force fields inside the buildings, and those lings, man, if they had one range, they would have destroyed that gate sitting there with 50 health for a good 2 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great. The other game that I really enjoyed was just before this was Stefano versus Mana from just a banter standpoint. Stefano and Mana are apparently quite good friends, and Stefano was just on fire at this tournament. I'm trying to come up with a joke about being drunk, but I can't.
Well, we should go ahead and say that there. We have it later in the show notes, but this is DreamHack news.
Right. But it was just interesting because as Mana beat Stefano's just like, man, if you win, I'm gonna laugh so hard, and then he finally does win, and Stefano just couldn't be happier about him winning. I don't think I've ever seen anyone so happy to lose so close to the finals of a major tournament.
Stefano played well.
Yeah,
you can't argue with that, man. It is unbelievable how all these players are playing the exact same races, but they all sort of have their own little tweaks, their own styles. Some of them are just taking things farther. Like you had Nesty droning up too much, suddenly dying. You have DRG, he's like, I'm droning a ton, but not too much, so I can still win. And then you have Stefano, who doesn't really drone, but just the number of sides he can attack from, his unit control, not on an individual basis, but on an army basis, is amazing.
Yeah, he's just, I'm going to flank here, and hey, there's 3 places to attack from. I'm going to attack from all 3.
I mean, it was really cool to see Damaga doing a similar thing in the finals here, where he would purposely, every time he gathered his units, split them in half. Just automatically split them in half. Are they done pushing? Who knows? Split them in half.
Yep. Yeah. I think it's seriously just a matter of time before we see Stefano, take a win in a major tournament. So, very, very cool. Was there any games in particular besides the finals that you really enjoyed, Kyle?
For DreamHack? No, I was real busy all week, and I apologize.
It's great, man. I was the same way. I watched all of it in VOD. Not all of it. All of it that I did watched in VOD. And again, whoever it was, over on Spoiler-Free SC, that chronicled all of DreamHack with links to every single VOD available. Thank you so much.
I was honestly having a lot of trouble on the DreamHack site.
Really?
Finding these VODs.
Oh, I've always had an issue kind of navigating DreamHack's site. That's why I always just go to Reddit and search DreamHack VODs. So. I
really like it though when someone takes the time to put this together for us. Certainly, that also means they've gone through the video and usually marked right where the conversation or game is happening, which is really nice that you don't have to search for it. But I am such a fan of what they did at DreamHack here with the massive video and what MLG did with the streaming becoming a video as it goes. Yes. So while it's live, you can freaking go back, check it again. If you're just tuning in, you see that all this has already happened, so you don't feel like such a nub by being a little confused.
Yeah, that's great. I love MLG's near instant VODs. It's always great. And I'm assuming, knowing you've watched quite a bit of Season 3 GSL.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So definitely my favorite from the week, and I have a sneaking suspicion that you and I are gonna finally have the same favorite game of the week for GSL. Was Symbol versus Marine King. It was just a hell of a game. And I see that under here you made a note. It says sexiest game of the week. I read that as sexist game of the week. In my head, I'm like, how is it sexist? Did Symbol or Marine King make a snide remark that I didn't notice?
No, it was sexiest.
Starting next week on StarCast, new segment, sexist game of the week.
I mean, and that was, again, because we had that defining principle of Marine King.
Yeah.
Watching Symbol play anyone else, even if he was that good, you would have gone, is he that good? Is this really happening before my eyes? But yes, it was, because it was against Marine King, and he used ultras, and it wasn't silly.
No, it wasn't. I have never been happier to watch Marine King lose.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a game, or hell of a set, and his macro, Symbol's macro, I just couldn't get over. He just always seemed to have more larva than you should ever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. The dude, his larva injects are just ridiculous. Someone needs to get a hold of his replay, find out how the hell he plays. Because that's, if you want to get good, sir, that's something to look at.
So. Well, GSL 3 for, this season is, it's building up to be pretty good. I'm really excited about it. It seems like it was going to be the swarm all the way. But actually right now, in the final in the 16 bracket, we already have 6 Terrans already up in there, and we're not even done deciding who all gets to go. So things are going as normal, but we do have DRG getting out of there. I was very happy to see that. His games were not quite as impressive. They were just kind of, I've got the skills, I belong in here, let me in.
Yeah, nothing new, just a standard run-of-the-mill awesome that we see from DRG.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. I was really happy though that Marine King didn't indeed make it out of Group F despite losing the Symbol. That made me happy.
Well, sure, he managed to turn it around. Though it's sad to see, dedicated, long-time code A'ers and early code S'ers like Yu-Gi-Oh get knocked out this early on. But not their time again.
Yeah, exactly. I hope we get to see MKP and Symbol duke it out again. That'd be really great.
Well, I'm hoping for a DRG Symbol square off, a nice ZVZ.
Yeah, those have been getting really interesting as of late. I mean, as you guys I'm sure have noticed over the last few weeks, I have warmed up to ZVZ. I don't hate it nearly as much as I used to.
It's nothing worth playing. I still enjoy putting spine crawlers in other people's bases. In fact, I did that to Viper this past week. So sorry about that, Viper. That was totally cheese, but it was ZVZ. What are you going to do?
Yeah. Thank you. No, are you just planning on ticking off our listeners 1v1 at a time?
One at a time.
You're just gonna play them all and spine crawler the base. Soon enough, we'll have no one listening to the show at all, and all of the reviews on iTunes will just read, "Kyle spine crawler rushed me. I hate the show."
You can stop it.
Yeah. In other news, the TSL 4 qualifier happened. Well, at least the first week of it happened this past week. Team Liquid obviously has a fantastic write-up on it. You want to see every single person, where they placed, how it went. They've got a good write-up for that. We have a link to that in the show notes over at thestarcast.com if you missed it. And I believe it's still on the front page over on teamliquid.net, so you should go check that out. I'm looking forward to getting into the TSL. I haven't had time to watch it yet, though.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of confusing ones, because this is all done online, correct?
Yeah.
There is no formal site. There's, of course, no TSL studios.
Right. Their finals will take place, I believe, in New York. They said, though, they are going to find a venue. The venue hasn't been announced yet, but they are going to have, a live, with a studio audience finals.
Okay, neat.
And with any luck, a laugh track. I just realized live. And TSL 4 was filmed in front of a live studio audience. Oh, Tyler.
Sometimes I wonder if this show would be more hilarious seeming if we had a laugh track. Because Scooby-Doo, not a hilarious show, but has a laugh track. I still laughed a few times.
Oh, I could get so off track about my hatred for Scooby-Doo, it's not even funny.
You hate not just Scrappy-Doo, just Scooby-Doo?
Scooby-Doo in general. Absolutely detest it. Hanna-Barbera cartoons in general, I think, is the worst animation to ever have the misfortune of being on television.
I mean, nowadays when you see like ratings and actual content, you wonder, why did these cartoons get produced? Well, because they were one of the few studios that could produce a cartoon. But that's sad, man. No Hanna-Barbera for you? No Flintstones even back in the day?
Okay, I could do Flintstones back in the day. All right, yeah, all right.
Denver the Last Dinosaur?
No.
He's my friend and a whole lot more?
No, can't say I did. In other Team Liquid news, though, dude.
Well, before you go on, I just wanted to mention on the TSL4. Yeah, you also have the NASL starting to grind its way up
to a more followable level of entertainment. NASL I find very hard to follow with the whole ranking and whatnot. So as they get closer to the finals, it becomes a lot more entertaining. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying here. Is that I feel like these are really hard to follow. They are online. The stories aren't interweaving. You don't get to see that guy go against this guy. And things get difficult with these long-term tournaments.
Yeah. Yeah. I finally have a really good grasp on how the GOM site works, so I have no question at any time about what's going on in the GSL, which is great, which means I don't have to go to Reddit, which means I don't need to have games I haven't watched yet spoiled for me.
Yeah.
So it's always nice. But anyway, in other Team Liquid news, get your popcorn out, Kyle, because finally, tomorrow, the Liquid Rising documentary comes out. And this is something we talked about a while back with Kenneget when he came on to announce TSL4.
Well, they said they were going to hang out and wait for their footage because their boy was in Korea. But now they've got it all put together and ready to show.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed, and it's going to be pay what you want, so meaning free, but please donate if you like what we did, to try and offset the cost. And I always recommend on things like that to please, leave money if you can. The trailer just looks great. What a fantastic hype video, and I'm looking forward to it. It's definitely going to be something I'm going to watch over the weekend. And you get banned. Sorry,
I wasn't paying attention.
Love it. Oh, I guess. I finally also have a handle on the Twitch controls.
Good. So, congratulations.
Yeah. It's good stuff. I am the god of this chat room.
I wonder what Korean players and the Korean StarCraft watching community thinks of Team Liquid Rising, these sort of videos, our sort of fan base around players, because they've seen so many players come and go, particularly with, Korean having the military requirement. Many of these players are on a constant ticking clock. They're not going to be around forever before they have to go off and, get busy. And then when they get back, maybe they've developed lives and they can't play video games anymore. And so they've got to just, be like, oh, well, here's another player. Yay, we love him for his skills, but he doesn't have to become a personality. He doesn't have to become a celebrity. Yet continually, here in America and other countries, we're just putting these people on a pedestal. And God, it's tough when these big tournaments are going on and you have to watch these players tweet out, I'm sorry, everyone, that I failed. And you're like, yeah, you don't have to apologize to me. Apologize to yourself. You're the competitor here.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I don't know. Like I've said on previous episodes, there's not a lot of people I get really jacked about. As we said earlier, I think Harrison Ford would be one of the few human beings I would just lose my shit over. So yeah. I don't really understand that mentality. So, like, for example, this whole Stefano story being number one on Reddit, I kind of get it, but at the same time I kind of don't. There's a lot of bigger news to talk about.
Well, and it makes perfect sense to me. So what's happened here is, after DreamHack, Stefano went out and got completely wasted in public, as you do at bars and whatnot, but of course exited a bar, gets caught by the police for being way too drunk.
No, that is not what happened, sir. To quote In Control, which I got this from our sponsor, SC2 Quote of the Day, which is an awesome site, and not just because they sponsor us. To quote In Control, Stefano went full exorcist on those couches, then they threw him out like yesterday's trash, and he spent the night in the drunk tank.
Okay. All right, so the version I heard was a little more flowery.
Yes, yeah, you got the fluff version. You got the fluff version of an already fluff story.
All the same, I'm not surprised. Why? Because these are competitors. People who live their lives for competition. People who need to seriously unwind after losing and almost winning a competition.
Yeah.
And as Sirsuit said, like, these people are people you should cheer for, but not someone you should have as your role model. This issue hasn't come up yet,
right?
But I'd be real sad if this got turned around on him in any way. It should be embarrassing for him.
Yeah, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, who the hell hasn't gotten just too drunk in public? It's happened everywhere. Not all of us have been arrested for it.
Sure.
But I got stupid at the MLG Columbus after party. I got all sorts of stupid.
Well, yeah, I mean, stupidity happens.
Yeah, I mean,
even monkeys chew on poisonous centipedes to get a little high in the jungle.
Oh, you did not just compare Stefano to monkeys in the jungle.
I'm just saying that we're all freaking males and primates and whatnot. I think everyone needs to let loose a little bit.
Insert foot in mouth. Yeah, I agree with you, Kyle. And I don't necessarily agree with your analogy, but yeah, I think what you can all take away from this is just don't throw up on couches.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's not newsworthy because it's hell of amusing, but I just hope it doesn't get turned around on him if he doesn't get invited back to something for some reason.
That wouldn't happen. There's no way in hell that would happen. If it did, we'd see a GESL situation where people start DDoSing whatever tournament didn't want to have them come. See, sometimes is a good thing. So there's good reasons for internet hackers sometimes. So, and then finally this week in news is Nada retired. This week he's going to be joining, doing his mandatory military service in South Korea.
Yeah.
Yeah, MC seems to be quite broken up about it. It says, again, I can't remember if I got this from FC2 Quote of the Day or not, but he tweeted, he said, Nada is my hero, but he quit pro gaming now. I'm so sad. F Korea Army System.
Wow.
Except he didn't say F.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, that's understandable. Required military service is kind of a scary thing.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it always kind of stinks. I mean, it is more than obviously just South Korea that does that, but
sure.
Thank God they don't do it over here because I am not fit for that type of stuff.
No, I have what's called an overactive imagination, and I would totally have horrible flashbacks because I have flashbacks of just embarrassing crap I did when I was 7.
You do realize joining the military does not mean you're going to be on the front line shooting at people, right?
Oh, thank goodness it doesn't, because I'm dyslexic, and they'd all say fire left, and I'm shooting the guy on my right.
But dyslexic was just reading, not actual direction.
No, like...
Are you telling me that dyslexic people cannot race in NASCAR because they turn right and die?
Well, it's not like I don't have visual, but it's not like that, dude.
That's what you just explained it.
No, I'm saying that if you ask me what's my left and my right, I have to raise my fingers so I can read the L's. Because I get confused. It's word association.
All right. Okay. Gotcha. So there's that. You'd get like the mess hall duty, man. You're going to have terrible flashbacks of peeling potatoes? I don't think so.
Yeah, I might. Entering names in a computer. Oh, can't take it.
Yeah. We have links to all of this if you want to read about it in more detail in the show notes, so go check that out. Big thanks to SC2 Quote of the Day for the awesome quotes that we got to use for today's show. Go check them out. They sponsor the show, but it's such a fun time sink. I love it. So, before we go, we have an email this week. It's actually in reply to an email we read last week from Wild, who said that he thinks he got his parents into esports. You can go back and listen to episode 107 if you want to hear the whole thing. But he's correct, apparently, because his father apparently offered to drive him to Raleigh, and they're going to have a big road trip. Him and his dad go on down and enjoy the festivities of a full 3 days of esports competition.
I hope it's as bonding as that, but here he nearly says that he's going to pay for it all, which is cool. Yes. I mean, certainly your dad tells you, go on a road trip and I'm going to pay for it. That's awesome. But, it'd be cool. Dad, son on the road. Or daughter, I guess. I don't really know. Wild's just an idea. Or ID.
Yeah. Man, I never did anything that cool with my dad. We were in Indian guides. Never took me to esports competitions.
No.
I'm being unfair, though. He did take me to plenty of concerts. And took me out to shoot guns on more than one occasion. So that's pretty intense. So that's always fun. But yeah, it's funny when you I'm assuming Wild's obviously significantly younger, because at our age, Kyle, we don't really have many options of getting someone to pay for our whole trip, unless you and I lucked out or something and like married some old cougar lady who just wanted a young husband and just paid for all our stuff.
That doesn't sound like winning to me.
Which reminds me, old semi-attractive ladies with lots of money, if you're looking for a husband, yeah.
I want stipulation. I get to keep my girlfriend, but I will be your husband.
yeah, exactly. So that's nice. So Kyle, I think that's a show. Chat room.
Yeah.
Unless you have any questions for us before we head out, feel free to ask now or forever hold your peace.
And while those questions go, I'm just going to say excited for this coming week of GSL. We got the Code A going on, so we get to continue to see some players go at it. I'm hoping maybe... Oh, no. Oh, I guess he's not. Shoot, I thought I was going to get to see Thorzane next week in the Code A's.
I'm like, the Code A is to me what the GSTL is for you. I just do not watch it very often.
The Code A, I always hear this from football fans. They're like, that was a bad game, but at least both teams were equally bad, so everything looked good that they were doing. So that's why I enjoy the Code A.
I mean, they're still insane players. It's just, there's so many games to watch. It's like, if I'm going to skip something, it's like, okay, I'll skip Code A. And I'll watch, whatever, NASL, TSL, see Code A, catch up on Code S if I've fallen behind, or GSTL, because I really enjoy the GSTL. So, yeah, that happens. Johnny the Crow says, what time do we broadcast in the USA, and is there a way you could broadcast 3 hours earlier? If not, why not? Think of us UK listeners. We could not broadcast 3 hours earlier because I have a full-time job that is in no way esports related, and in fact it's barely technology related, because I work with people who are afraid of things that plug into the wall.
No, I could beat you there. I'm not completely. Yours is at least technology based in a way. You require technology to do your job. I guess I require some technology to make sure the espresso pours into the cup.
Yeah, you've. Oh man, I am very, very happy I do not work in the service industry anymore.
Yep. Well, if you're out there and you're using a credit card, you are safe. But if you are using cash, please tip. We give you back that money. Please tip. Be very nice of y'all. And, of course, sponsor StarCast because, hey, I don't want to be a barista forever.
Yes, that would be nice. Oh, it'd be fantastic. We should just... I think we should start doing a Kickstarter at the beginning of every year for our salary. Please pay StarCast salary so we can stay home and do this show full time. That'd be great. That'd be an awesome Kickstarter. No one would give us money.
Well, that's actually a legitimate concern of mine that we were talking about with Brent earlier. The oversaturation of media at these esports events is getting a little scary, in fact. And, it's hard to discern people. So now you have big old lanyards so everyone can tell who's press and they get a special room, but all the same. And
man, I never used that special room once.
Yeah. But it's there for you, at least, to feel elite or whatever it may do for you. And I really don't want to see all the games go behind a wall where no one else can enjoy them. That'd be real sad, too. But something's going to pop, I feel like, soon. Not the tournaments themselves. Those are doing great. The sponsorship on them is great. But DreamHack and its closed venue and closed venue size is just, it's real tempting. It's successful. It's comfortable.
Yeah.
And these big marathon event weekends, I don't know if they'll keep up on Steam as things start to casual in.
I disagree. I don't know. I think things are good the way they are. I could see where if like we got 5 more marathon weekend tournaments and start having scheduling issues, that it could become a problem. But I think as it is now, I think things are pretty stinking good.
I could agree, but it could. It could.
Oh, it could, but it also couldn't. So this makes really interesting back and forth. Yes. Will we send you a T-shirt? No. You can buy a T-shirt. You can go buy a T-shirt. What? I don't even know what the link is anymore. I think it's starcastshow.spreadshirt.com.
Are you looking that up, or should I be saying something? Oh, now I can't hear you.
It's because I was typing and trying not to be rude.
Oh, I see.
I'm trying to find the link for everyone here. I haven't pimped the shirts in so long. Oh, it's just starcast.spreadshirt.com. There's the link. Go buy yourself a shirt. Get a pink one. You know you want it. So, very cool. Wild's in the chat room. He says I'm 17, not 13. I didn't say you were 13, sir. I guess it's an 18th birthday present. Is why.
Oh, wow. That's pretty well. It's your birthday.
That's an awesome 18th birthday present.
Yeah. Get to go on a trip all by yourself.
Well, with your dad.
Well, we don't know if the dad's coming still.
Oh. No, I'm pretty sure they're going. I don't know. Who knows?
Oh, today's his birthday. Well, happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday indeed, sir.
Well,
the final question is, will we be getting any guests like Apollo, Day 9, or Total Biscuit? Well, I had an interview with Day 9 2 episodes ago. I'd love to get Apollo or Total Biscuit. A, because I like them. B, because they have awesome accents, and it's always fun to listen to them talk. Yeah, we'll get on.
I really want to get Caldor or Wolf on here as well.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Because they've been working hard recently. I really want to hear their opinions about stuff.
Yeah. Think Tank in the chat room is making me laugh. He's saying we should get Stefano to Gainesville for a weekend. Think Tank is an old college friend of mine, and we used to go up to Gainesville. And what are the cool kids calling it? We used to rage, hardcore.
Rage.
Yeah.
I see. What is raging?
I believe it's when you party very hard to where the point you would get to is, how did In Control put it? Full exorcist.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that was a college days think tank time. I'm an old, practically married man. I'm sorry.
Oh, man. Yeah, I've actually never barfed from drinking. I've been close, but I hate barfing so much. God, once I know, like, you had to drink water, but I was so sick of drinking from the previous night that I went into the shower and laid my hands upon the floor, knowing that your fingers get wrinkly, so they must wrinkle up for a reason. It must be because they've absorbed too much water. That's why they're wrinkling up, to close your fingers so no more water can get in. So I sat there for 2 hours in the shower with my hands on the floor, seeing if I could absorb the water because I was so sick of drinking. And that's why I don't drink anymore.
All right, that's a special story. Are we in the same state? No, Kyle lives in Chicago, and I live in Sarasota, Florida. I'm jealous that I can just say Chicago and not say the state. Everyone knows exactly where Kyle is. If I say Sarasota, no one knows where the hell that is, unless you have grandparents that retired here.
Yes.
So there's that.
Saying broadcasting live from Chicago sounds pretty sweet.
Broadcasting live from Chicago / Sarasota, StarCast.
Yeah, but I'm not going to say broadcasting live from Illinois. Like, oh, from Illinois, eh? Well, that's fun.
Woo!
On the back of your John Deere, sir?
Yep. So, anyways, that has been our show. I hope you all enjoyed it. Big thanks to all of you guys who left us 5-star reviews in the iTunes store this week.
Wait, oh my gosh, I have to interrupt you. OPEC in the chat room just informed me that your fingers get wrinkly so you can get a better grip in wet conditions? No, that's too logical.
Everything you hear on the internet is true, especially in our chat room, Kyle.
But, why do they have to make the bombs of pool so darn hard? You always cut up your feet on them. Because if my feet are wrinkling, then why would I need this really rough floor surface so I don't slip? How about that, OPEC?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yep. Mysteries that we live in.
Yep. Anyways, big thanks to James CC and BB Grishnak for the 5-star review in the iTunes store. If you haven't left us an iTunes review and you listen to the podcast version, please do if you enjoy what we do. because it's free, and that's how we get new listeners. We really appreciate it. Head on over to the StarCast.com. That's the place to go for our forums, archive shirts, and more. You can catch us live Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Or not 7 p.m., 8 p.m. And it's not Wednesday nights, it's Thursday nights. Oh, someone didn't... This is an old show note.
Me.
Yes, catch us live Thursday nights at 8 p.m. on twitch.tv/AMoveTV, because StarCast is now a production of AMove TV. It's our new network. It's our new home. Go check it out. Got 3 awesome shows currently, so make sure you go enjoy it. Email us at starcastshow@gmail.com. You can call us at 941-882-0281. Leave us a message. Leave us a topic starter. Leave us a question. Whatever you want to do. You can sing to us. We just probably won't play it. And you can follow us on Twitter at the StarCast. You can follow me at Garrett Art, and you can follow Kyle at Kyle Ferguson. Big thanks to our production crew, Octane Pro and Captain Noobing. And make sure you check out Kyle and I's other show, This Week in Blizz, where Ben Zweifel joins us to talk about everything in the Blizzard sphere, Diablo, World of Warcraft, and more StarCraft 2 discussion. Kyle,
it's really cool how our 2 shows work out, that we have a Monday This Week in Blizz, where things haven't recovered quite from the StarCraft weekend. It's a great show. We have so much fun over there. You should go check it out, because you get to hear, some really organic reactions from the weekend of esports. And then by the time we get around to StarCraft,